His name is Al. He's 17. He was a dropout in his junior year in high school. He has 2 brothers and a sister at home. He has a mother. He had a father until he was 9 years old. Nobody knows where he is now. The welfare check comes in once a month. Al is about to become someone special. He's about to begin the adventure of his young life. A life that so far has promised more than it has delivered. A life that has delivered part-time jobs and part-time hopes for better things. Al threw away those rose-colored glasses a long time ago. A philosopher once said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." Al is taking that one step, and more are to follow. This is the State Employment Office in Al's hometown, where Al will soon meet a man who will start him off on those first steps to escape the despair, frustration, and isolation of his young life. Al is joining the Job Corps. He's enlisting in an army of young people who have taken a long, cold look at themselves and didn't like what they saw. So far in life, Al has had a lot of questions, but few answers. What's my future? Where am I headed? What part do I play? Why can't I get a job now? The man behind the desk doesn't have all the answers, but he has seen a lot of youngsters like Al come into his office, and he is usually able to send them out in the right direction. That direction for Al and a lot of others points directly to the Job Corps. In this day and age, it's a short jump from dream to reality. And finally, the day arrives when the first part of a dream by Al begins to materialize. By train, by bus, and by plane, Al and others like him step from one life into another here at one of the Job Corps locations in the United States. Camp Atterbury, Indiana, 30 miles south of the Hoosier capital of Indianapolis. It doesn't look like much at first, does it? Perhaps like an old World War II Army camp. It should, because it was. But now, Atterbury is part of another war, the war on poverty and ignorance. And here on this sprawling military reservation, thousands of other fellows like Al have come to answer the challenge offered them and to take another step up in society. In the dorm, Al meets the first of many new friends he will make while in the Job Corps. In this case, Jerry, a fellow corpsman with many of the same problems Al is seeking to overcome. Undereducated, unemployed, and for the most part, unemployable. As in any army, there are the basic necessities and routine matters to be taken care of. Among these, clothing, bedding, and dormitory assignment. Then it's off to the medical and dental examination. Al hasn't seen many doctors or dentists in his young life, so he's not really surprised to learn that he needs some dental work. But then, more than half of the new corpsmen are in the same boat. As a matter of fact, 8 out of 10 of the corpsmen have never seen a doctor or a dentist. Here in the dining hall, Al receives the first of many regular, nutritionally balanced meals. Rule 1 at the Job Corps is that you can learn better on a full stomach than on an empty one. Mealtime is also a good time to talk over the day's events with fellow Job Corpsmen and to compare notes. Now it's time to learn what it's all about here at the Job Corps and to get an idea of what's ahead in the next few months. All of this comes during the first day of orientation, as Al learns what to expect from the Job Corps and what the Job Corps expects from him. He learns right off the bat they expect you to get up bright and early at the Job Corps Center, and they keep you busy until lights out. And there's the opportunity to choose which of these 6 vocational areas to enroll in. It might be air conditioning and refrigeration. Here in the air conditioning and refrigeration section, the Job Corps instructors don't expect to turn out a refrigeration specialist, but they do expect a corpsman who pursues this particular trade to be able to return to his home community with enough practical experience and knowledge to enable him to obtain employment in, well, for instance, a local appliance store as a repairman. In the radio and television repair course, the Job Corps is proud of the fact that corpsmen show a remarkable interest in electronics and devote a considerable amount of time and energy in the assembly of television chassis and component parts. Now, it may involve replacing a blown tube, tracing a faulty circuit, or just readjusting the alignment with an oscilloscope. Upon first entering the Job Corps, Al thought perhaps he would like to come out as an automobile mechanic. Well, he'll have a 2-week trial at this to see if he has the aptitude and interest for this type of work. And if perhaps auto mechanics is not his cup of tea, he might find that a profession of welding might be more down his line. Another vocational area of choice exists in small quantity cooking, where a corpsman is taught the basic rudiments of how a kitchen in a hotel, motel, or restaurant is operated, beginning with the job of cleaning pots and pans to preparing sumptuous meals. First off, a classroom demonstration is given by the instructor, and notes are taken by the corpsman. Each corpsman is offered the opportunity to put into practice in his own kitchen-like desk what he has learned in the earlier part of the classroom session. All of this, of course, under close supervision by the instructor. These 2 corpsmen are preparing braised pot roast and beef stew with potatoes and carrots. Makes your mouth water just to see it. Once the corpsmen learn to master this task to the satisfaction of their instructor, they then transfer to an actual classroom where they cook and serve 1 meal a day under actual conditions, even to the point of using the staff as guests. The same holds true for corpsmen enrolled in the baking classes. Here they prepare sweet rolls, cakes, and cookies for the Job Corps mess hall. Another vocational area which seems to attract a great amount of interest on behalf of the corpsmen are the meat cutting classes. Here they learn to become journeyman meat cutters, learning how to identify various cuts of meat and preparing these cuts for customers. This meat, like much of the food prepared in the small quantity cooking and baking classes, is also served in the Job Corps mess hall. Following the orientation session, during which each corpsman has the opportunity to learn about all the possible job vocation choices, each corpsman is run through a series of tests, or probes. The Job Corps wants to make sure that each corpsman moves at his own speed. So Al, along with his fellow corpsmen, are tested to determine their proficiency in math, English, and reading. From these tests, it will be determined at what level each corpsman is equipped to learn. And if he needs some fundamental background training in one of these areas, special tutoring sessions are established, with the Job Corps attempting to reach each individual on a one-to-one teacher-student relationship. One of the unique ways in which corpsmen are tested is with the use of a so-called teaching machine, a device that is programmed with lesson material on a particular subject. Through the use of tape recorders, slide projectors, and motion picture projectors, a student utilizing a selector device in his hand is able to select from multiple choice answers fed to him on a tape. At a taped command, he selects the answer which he considers is correct, and his choice is recorded on a screen in front of his teacher. In this way, only the teacher and student know what answer has been selected, and the teacher is further able to determine what percentage of the students have made a selection. Here's an example.
The accident that injured the Harris girl is typical of the thousands of tragedies that happen on our streets every day. It was more serious than some, less serious than others. By learning more about the details and causes of the Harris accident, you can learn how to meet the challenge of preventing accidents when you take the wheel. Why did I say you should learn more about this accident? A, to learn who to blame. B, to learn how to avoid bicycles. C, to learn how to prevent accidents. D, none of these reasons. The best answer is C.
From the complete series of tests and special tutoring sessions, each corpsman is able to proceed through his general education coursework at his own speed and learning potential. Throughout his stay at the Job Corps, Al will find that his academic progress will receive the same emphasis as his study in the vocational field of his choice. This is accomplished by splitting each day into two sections. Each corpsman will spend one half day each day bringing his reading, writing, and math skills up to the proper levels, and the other half day working in his vocational area. One of the ways in which the Job Corps seeks to tie together the general education curriculum with the vocational curriculum is through a unique vocational education course. This holds true whether a corpsman has selected cooking and baking, radio and television repair, or auto mechanics. In math, for instance, a student enrolled in an auto mechanics course would find that his vocational math course would teach him that not only say 2 and 2 or 2 plus 2 equals 4, but also that 2 bolts and 2 nuts equal 4 pieces of hardware, or that if you have 5 tires, 5 rims, and 5 tubes, you will have a total of 15 stock items. Corpsmen are also taught such things as how to sell a customer automotive products while he is servicing his automobile, or how to fill out a credit card form, or how to issue a receipt, and how to make out an order form. They learn the everyday but important tasks of how to make change, read tire gauges, understand resistance charts. The Job Corps just doesn't want to make a competent auto mechanic. They want to make sure that he has achieved all the skill levels in his chosen profession. Al soon finds that the personalized treatment he receives during his auto mechanics class seems to be rule number one at the Job Corps. He's encouraged to participate in extracurricular work to help him in his occupation. At Atterbury, there is a well-stocked library for the corpsman's use, not only to help him to delve deeper into his vocational area, but simply for personal development. It's not all work and no play at the Job Corps Center. There are a number of extracurricular activities for the corpsman. An example would be Explorer Scouting. At Atterbury, there's a very active Explorer Scout unit in operation. A corpsman can learn to express his talents and his feelings through the arts and crafts programs. It's surprising what can happen when a boy sits down in front of a piece of canvas. Others express themselves in other ways. While more vigorous sports occupy the attention of other corpsmen. Thus far, we have talked about the corpsman. Now let's let two of the corpsmen, Al and Jerry, talk about themselves, their backgrounds, their problems, their impressions of the Job Corps training.
My name is Al Harris. I quit school in 1962 after completing the 8th grade. I decided to go to work. I went to work for a phonograph manufacturer on assembly work, but decided I didn't like that at all, so I decided to find another job. I went to work for an industrial cleaning outfit, cleaning large buildings, but I had troubles getting to and from work, so I had to find another job. I heard about the Job Corps on the radio, so I went down to the employment office to find out about it. They told me all about the Job Corps, and I signed up for it. I've been in the Job Corps a little over a year now, and after 3 months out here, I went and took the General Educational Development Test for a high school equivalency diploma and passed that. And then I took the college entrance exams at Indiana State University and passed those. I someday hope to go to college as soon as I get enough money. In the meantime, I'll stay here or go and find a job. I think, in my opinion, the Job Corps is about the finest thing that happened to any guy that quit school if he'd buckle down and work.
My name is Jerry Downs. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I completed the 10th grade of high school. After I dropped out of high school, I got a job working in a grocery store. And then I quit that and went to a trade school. I stayed in the trade school for a period of 3 weeks. Then the minister told me about Job Corps, and I decided I'd give Job Corps a try. So after a period of 3 months of waiting to get into Job Corps, I arrived at Camp Atterbury Job Corps Center. Since I've been at Camp Atterbury Job Corps Center, I completed TV antenna installation, and now I'm in refrigeration install class. I've been to a lot of speaking engagements while I was here at Camp Atterbury about my experience in Job Corps, like at IU University, Ball State University, and in Kentucky, speaking about Job Corps. When I graduate from Job Corps, I would like to join the Air Force. Then I would like to go to school later on in the future, law school. I'd like to join the FBI Academy someday. Well, my experience in Job Corps went a long ways. I learned a lot of different things. Now I learned a trade where I can go out and outside and get a good job and have a good future to hold.
Herb Thomas is a former corpsman. He graduated successfully some time ago and knows what the Job Corps is all about. He's on the job now and has time to reflect on what the Job Corps did for him and how it helped him take another step up.
My name is Herbert Thomas, and I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I dropped out of high school in the 10th grade, and I got various jobs around. I'm doing a lot of them things. But you know, when you don't have an education, you can't get a good job. Well, I wasn't doing that, and I was fooling around with fellas. I got in some trouble with the law. Well, I was lucky enough to get out then. Then I heard about the Job Corps, and a friend of mine gave me one of the Job Corps cards, and I sent it in. So a couple of weeks later, they got in contact with me, told me to go down to the employment office. So I went down, and the fella explained to me about the Job Corps. So I took a chance at it. So they sent me to Atterbury. So I got here, I took up refrigeration and air conditioning. I graduated out there at the state and took that for 18 months. Then Westinghouse was still employing. So they offered me a job out here as an electrician. So I took the job out here at camp as an electrician. Now, working for Westinghouse. And now people look up to me, to respect me. I showed them that if a young fellow like me would have the chance to make it, I could do it. So I'm working for Westinghouse now, everything. And I think the Job Corps is the best thing going for any young man or woman who really want to get ahead, as if they want to. Because I made it, and I know if I made it, anybody else can make it. I think the Job Corps is a great opportunity for any young man or young woman who want to get ahead and want to be something. All they have to do is take advantage of it. It's there for you.
Herb Thomas has been there, too. He knows what the Job Corps can do and did do for him. Jerry, prior to joining the Job Corps, tried to enlist in the Air Force. He was turned down because he couldn't pass the tests and because he failed the physical examination. He's trying again with every hope that this time he will qualify. With his Job Corps education and training behind him, there is every reason to believe that before long, Jerry will be exchanging the khaki of the Job Corps for the Air Force blue. Al, on the other hand, is giving serious thought to continuing his education. While in the Job Corps, he successfully completed coursework and was tested for the equivalent of a high school degree. He's now thinking that maybe he shouldn't stop there, that maybe he now has the stuff to go on to college. When you stop to think that only a few short months ago, he was a high school dropout and is now on the verge of becoming a college man, it seems like a minor miracle. The Job Corps wouldn't call it a miracle. They would prefer to call it desire. Desire by two Job Corpsmen to make a better life. Desire to break out of a rut, to live up to a potential. The Job Corps helped these boys to make this break. The rest is up to them as they take another step up.